In the span of less than a year, Donald Trump has become one of the most prolific in modern times for using pardon and clemency power. You got people that all the way from U.S. senators that were trying to steal money to reality stars to people convicted of major financial frauds, crypto billionaires, all kinds of people. So we're going to be updating you on some of the pardons. We've covered pardons before. Consider this, maybe we have to make this a regular segment because Trump's unstoppable. He's got to keep doing this nonsense. So consider this a pardon update. More people that are getting pardons, more criminals that Trump is letting off the hook inexplicably, probably because they're loyalists. So we're going to dive into some of those, some of the most high profile and some lesser known pardons or clemency grants that Trump has done. I'm Shant Karnikian. That's Brian Kabateck. This is another installment of Civil Action on the Legal AF Network. Before we dive in, remember, hit that subscribe button if you like this content. If you appreciate all the contributors on the Legal AF Network. Brian, who do you want to start with here? What do you want
let's call this the pardon parade, Sean. And
pardon parade. I like that.
Pardon parade. I think we're
the MAGA Muppets as one of the regular segments and the pardon parade. There we go.
Well, I want to talk about, I got a couple here I want to just talk about to start with. I think, Sean, you'll cover a couple of these. These are very recent, within the last couple of days. Daniel Edwin Wilson. I always wonder when somebody uses three names, but that's okay.
Serial killer. Usually serial killer.
He belonged to a little organization called the Oath Keepers. And he is the lucky recipient, as far as I could tell, of the second pardon. He received his first pardon for his participation in January 6th.
Repeat pardon. Do you think they get like loyalty points? Do you think they collect points? You get 3 pardons and you get one,
I think you get a car. I think if you get 3 pardons, you also get a car and a personal visit with Donald Trump. So
an order of French fries. Yeah.
Daniel Edwin Wilson was pardoned first for January 6th. Now he's pardoned the second time because the pardon itself on January 6th didn't cover his federal firearms charges. He had 6 unregistered guns and 4,800 rounds of ammo. They're discovered during a home search.
Big deal, right? Big deal. Yeah. No, it's just crazy. A second pardon. By the way, not to backtrack, but when we were researching this, we were kind of getting ready to come up with our talking points here. One astounding statistic. I mean, it shouldn't shock me, but I was kind of shocked. And I was like, Brian, do you think this is right? Trump has pardoned in his second term alone. He's pardoned more than 1,500 individuals. I mean, yes, a big bulk of them were tied to January 6th, but still, I mean, that's just an astounding number.
Sean, how many of these are the kid at 19 who got arrested for drug trafficking and under the draconian laws has been sentenced to 25 years in prison for a first offense because
he got like overcharged or like, the minimum, the mandatory minimum sentence was too high. No, none of them. They're all people like Rod Blagojevich and, Darryl Strawberry and
wealthy people, people that supported the January 6th storming of the Capitol. So that brings me to another one, Suzanne K. Don't know her personally, only one name. She was sentenced to 18 months for threatening to shoot FBI agents, and she's been pardoned.
Yeah. Okay. You have high profile ones. I mean, this isn't a very recent one. I think it was in like May or something, but Todd and Julie Chrisley, they were reality show stars.
Well, you're going outside of our pardon.
Okay, break. I'm breaking the rules here. I'll go to a recent one. Joseph Schwartz. This is someone that Trump just very recently pardoned. He was a former nursing home executive from New York, I believe. He pled guilty in a federal case involving tax fraud and some type of employer tax scheme. He absconded with like $38 million in payroll or employer tax money. This guy was running a bunch of nursing homes and he was siphoning off money and that was tax fraud apparently. Trump pardoned him mid-November. Not sure why.
He caused, by the way, Sean, a number of those nursing homes to abruptly close where you had elderly residents who had to be quickly relocated. He was
victimless crime. It sounds like Trump would think that's a victimless crime. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, something else, right?
I know, I'm kidding. It's nothing to make fun of, but it's just, you can't help but kind of just be astounded at the level.
Quick mentions, George Santos. We've covered that already. He got actually a commutation as opposed to a pardon. Darryl Strawberry, a baseball player who was convicted of tax evasion.
Yep.
Many years ago.
You have the Binance founder, Changpeng Zhao.
CZ Zhao.
Yeah. CZ,
who was convicted of money laundering, I think, Sean, is that right?
Money laundering. He not just convicted, he pled guilty to violating anti-money laundering laws, and he served a prison sentence, and Trump justified it by saying, well, first of all, Trump was asked about it, and he said, I don't really know, which is troubling because he's criticized Biden for using an auto pen to sign pardons. And he said, I don't really know that guy. I'm not really sure why. But if he's in crypto, the Biden administration was not fair to the crypto world or whatever, some nonsense bullshit talking point. So that was his basis. Of course, Trump's kids are heavily invested and involved. They have different cryptocurrencies.
Is he going to pardon them?
His own kids? I mean, yeah, he'll probably have to at some point, I assume.
Let's go through a couple of quickies. Rudy Giuliani. Mark Meadows,
our buddy Rudy, yeah,
a bunch of his lawyers from the election scam in 2020 when he tried to claim that it was false election. He's pardoned a bunch of them. 60 unnamed GOP activists. I don't even have their names. There's so many of them who were the fake electors. He's pardoned them.
Yeah, people that literally tried to undermine a democratic election in this country, and he's let them out. It's really wild. You got a number of people. You got Jeffrey Clark, former acting assistant attorney general. Again, I think that's related to the undermining the 2020 election results. It's really wild. I mean, I don't know. What do you think the effect of this is, Brian? Practically speaking, or culturally, what do you think?
Well, I think that's a good question, Sean. I think there's several effects to this. First of all, what kind of a message does it send to people in America when white collar criminals and people who have been convicted, so it's not even alleged, people who have been convicted of white collar crimes have been granted pardons? That's the wrong message to send. People who stormed the Capitol in the only true insurrection that's occurred in our lifetime are pardoned because they were supporting Donald Trump. And I think the thing I was trying to say earlier about the 19-year-old hypothetical drug dealer is, those are crimes. And the fact, though, that people who engage in crimes like that are not being given pardons or being thrown into jail or it exactly explains who the administration is. So these pardons being handed out as favors, as party gifts, there are certainly pardons for people there's one whose mother contributed $1 million to Trump and he suddenly got a pardon. So is it pay to play? I think people, and I really hope, I've consistently said this, Sean, I don't mean to meander here, but I've consistently said this, is that there's about 30% of people in this country who think that Donald Trump is the second coming and that he can do no wrong. I hope that people start looking at this, though, and look at this kind of conduct, look at the kind of conduct that affects, frankly, the working poor in this country, a lot of whom voted for Trump, young people who voted for Trump, and they start looking at this and start peeling off of this MAGA universe and realize what's going on. Because, every day for me, it's like the emperor has no clothes, right?
Yeah. I hope that that's the result of it. That's what I think the result of this is, or the effect of it is. It clearly starts as a political move to get people to rally around him. But the irony is the more he does it, it starts looking more and more like, hey, this guy's just like weaponizing his power and kind of going around and giving people passes. And it really undermines his credibility. He's supposed to be the law and order president and rule of law and making our cities safe. He's going around pardoning criminals, a lot of whom are reoffending and we have our second pardon. You have many who've been reincarcerated even after their pardon. I mean, it's really stupid, and I think people are starting to see through it. So it's an interesting issue. This is going to be, sadly, a recurring segment on our program here, the Pardon Parade, much like the MAGA Muppets. Endless supply of those. There's probably going to be an endless supply of unwarranted, unworthy pardons. So we'll keep you posted on it. Stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in to another installment of Civil Action on the Legal AF Network. I'm Shant Karnikian. That's Brian Kabateck over there. If you have any feedback for us, reach out to us. We love hearing from you. Hit that subscribe button if you like the Legal AF Network and want to keep supporting us. Tune in next time and see you soon.
Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.